Ever heard a cheese roll down a hill with a ghostly cheer? Let's listen to the bizarre echoes of Britain's oldest traditions on Tall Tales UK. A quick note, these tall tales are purely fictional fun, with a bit of British cheek. Let's start in Gloucestershire, where the rolling hills of the Cotswolds are as green as a lime's locket. Their golden stone villages, like Stow on the Wold and Burton on the Water, a picture of rural charm, all honey-coloured cottages and babbling brooks where the ducks paddle lazily under willow trees. But on Cooper's Hill, near the village of Brockworth, a tradition as old as the hills themselves takes a turn for the downright daft and the ghostly. Since at least the 15th century, locals have gathered for the cheese rolling race, a bonkers event where a wheel of double Gloucester cheese is sent tumbling down the steep slope, and brave or balmy souls chase after it, tumbling head over heels in a chaotic dash to catch the cheese and win the glory. The shouts of "I've got it" echoing through the valley as they roll down the hill, human barrels, often ending up in a heap at the bottom with a few bruises and a story to tell their mates at the pub. The event's origins are murky. Some say it's a pagan rite to celebrate the harvest, others reckon it's just a way to settle old scores with a good tumble. But one thing's certain, it's a spectacle that draws crowds from far and wide. Their cheers a cacophony of "Go on, lad, and mind your noggin," as the cheese leads the way. But one cheese rolling race has been rolling far, far too long. A spectral event that's become the stuff of local legend, whispered about in the pubs of Brockworth over pints of cider and plates of ploughman's lunch. Meet the ghostly Gloucester, a spectral cheese wheel that vanished in 1875 during the annual race, right as it rolled down Cooper's Hill on a misty May morning that wrapped the slope in a shroud so thick you didn't see the bottom from the top. The Gloucester was a fine wheel, its rind a golden hue, its scent sharp enough to make your eyes water, but as it tumbled down the hill, chased by a gaggle of eager runners, it vanished into the mist, leaving only a ghostly thud on the grass, its absence sparking a frenzy among the crowd, who ran in circles shouting, "Where's the bleeding cheese?" Now, the ghostly Gloucester haunts Cooper's Hill, rolling down the slope at dawn with a ghostly cheer that sends shivers down the spine of every farmer tending his sheep in the early light, their hands pausing on their crooks as they listen to the eerie sound. If you leave a cracker on the hilltop, nestled in the grass where the race begins, the Gloucester might let you hear its cheer, a spectral wee that echoes through the valley, but don't chase it, or you'll be tumbling through the afterlife with a wheel of ghostly cheese for company. On misty mornings, its cheer mixes with the bleating of sheep, a ghostly echo that makes even the local dogs howl, their ears pricking up as they sense something not quite right. Some say the Gloucester once rolled right through a modern race in 1982, leaving the runners sprawling in its wake, their shouts of its back echoing through the crowd, a tale that's been told over pints at the cheese rollers inn ever since. Others claim a farmer once found a ghostly cracker on the hill, its edges nibbled by spectral teeth, a story that's made every cheese roller in Gloucestershire check their wheels twice before the race. So, if you're on Cooper's Hill and hear a ghostly cheer, leave a cracker for the Gloucester, it's still rolling, hoping to finish its race after all these years, a bizarre echo of Britain's knack for keeping its oddest traditions alive in the heart of the Cotswolds. But Britain's got more curious whispers. Let's sail down the Thames, where a swan's got a story to paddle. The River Thames, that winding ribbon through London's heart, has been the lifeblood of the city since Roman times, its waters carrying everything from Viking longships to Tudor barges, their oars slicing through the current as merchants shouted their wares from the banks, their voices a cacophony of fresh fish and silks from the east. Today, it's all pleasure boats and the occasional barge, but one tradition on the Thames dates back to the 12th century, a royal ritual that's as peculiar as it is posh. Swan-upping, the annual census of the Queen's swans, sees the royal swan marker and his crew row up the river in July, counting and marking the cygnets in a ceremony that's all pomp and circumstance. Their scarlet uniforms a splash of colour against the grey water, their cries of "all up" echoing across the river as they tally the birds, ensuring the Queen's flock is thriving. But one swan-upping ceremony has been paddling for far too long. A spectral event that's become the stuff of riverside legend, whispered about in the pubs of Henley over pints of ale and plates of fish and chips. Meet the spectral swan, a ghostly bird that vanished in 1901 during the annual upping. Right as the swan markers boat past under Henley Bridge on a scorching July day that shimmered like a mirage on the water. The swan was a majestic creature, its feathers as white as snow, its beak a proud orange, but as the marker reached out to tag it, the swan vanished into the river mist, leaving only a single feather floating on the water, its quill glowing with a ghostly light that made the crew drop their oars and gasp. Their shouts of "Where's the bleeding bird?" echoing across the Thames. Now, the spectral swan haunts the river near Henley, paddling through the mist with a ghostly honk that sends shivers down the spine of every rower training for the Henley Regatta, their oars pausing mid-stroke as they listen to the eerie sound. If you leave a feather on the riverbank, tucked into the reeds where the swans nest, the swan might honk a thank you. Its call as haunting as a foghorn, but don't try to tag it, or you'll be swimming with the ghostly flock for a month, your arms turned to wings by swan magic. On misty evenings, its honk mixes with the splash of oars, a ghostly echo that makes even the ducks quack in a panic, their feathers ruffling as they paddle away. Some say the swan once honked so loudly that a regatta boat capsized in 1978. The rowers swearing they'd seen a ghostly bird in the mist, a tale that's been told over pints at the Angel on the Bridge ever since. Others claim a fisherman once caught a ghostly fish that honked like a swan, its scales shimmering with spectral light. A story that's made every angler on the Thames check their nets twice. So, if you're on the Thames and hear a ghostly honk, leave a feather for the swan it's still paddling, hoping to finish its upping after all these years. A bizarre echo of Britain's knack for keeping its oddest traditions alive on the river's misty waters. From spectral swans to cursed wells, let's head to Derbyshire, where a well's got a story to dress up. Derbyshire, in the heart of England's Peak District, is a land of rugged moors and limestone dales, where the hills rise like ancient giants, their slopes dotted with sheep and the occasional hiker braving the wind, their shouts of "Mind the drop" echoing through the valleys as they navigate the rocky paths. The county's villages, like Tissington and Wirksworth, are picture postcard pretty, their stone cottages a testament to centuries of rural life, their gardens blooming with roses and lavender that scent the air like a summer dream. But in these villages, a tradition as old as the hills themselves takes a turn for the downright peculiar and the ghostly. Well dressing, the art of decorating springs and wells with intricate pictures made of flower petals, clay, and seeds, dates back to the 14th century. A way to give thanks for clean water in a time when a good well was worth its weight in gold. The villagers gathering to create their masterpieces, their hands stained with petal juice as they pressed each piece into place. Their voices a chorus of "Pass the daisies" and "Mind the morse." But one well dressing in Tissington has been blooming for far too long. A spectral event that's become the stuff of local legend, whispered about in the village halls of Derbyshire over cups of tea and slices of Bakewell tart. Meet the cursed Well of Clara, a ghostly well dressing that vanished in 1888 during the annual festival, right as the villagers unveiled their creation on a sunny May morning that sparkled like a gem, their Peak District. Clara was a village lass, her hair as golden as the sun, her hands deft with petals, but she had a habit of singing as she worked, her voice a lilting melody that made even the grumpiest farmer pause to listen, his side stilled by the beauty of her song. The well-dressing that year was a masterpiece, a picture of a shepherd and his flock made of daisies and bluebells, but as Clara sang the final note of her song, the well-dressing vanished into the air, leaving only a single petal on the ground, its edge glowing with a ghostly light that made the villagers gasp. Their shouts of "Where's the bleeding picture?" echoing through the village square. Now, the cursed Well of Clara haunts Tissington's Well, blooming in the mist with a ghostly hum that sends shivers down the spine of every villager tending their garden, their hands pausing on their trowels as they listen to the eerie sound. If you leave a bluebell on the well's edge, nestled in the stone where the water trickles, Clara might hum a thank you, her melody as haunting as a church hymn, but don't touch the well, or you'll be dressing wells for a month, your hands stained with ghostly petals. On sunny days, her hum mixes with the buzz of bees, a ghostly echo that makes even the children playing in the square pause, their laughter fading as they strain to hear the melody. Some say the well once bloomed so brightly that a tourist fainted in 1995, swearing she'd seen a shepherd step out of the petals, a tale that's been told over pints at the Herbert Arms ever since. Others claim Clara's hum once lured a flock of sheep to the well, their woolly heads nodding to the tune, a story that's made every farmer in Tissington check their fences twice. So, if you're in Tissington and hear a ghostly hum, leave a bluebell for Clara, she's still dressing, hoping to finish her masterpiece after all these years, a bizarre echo of Britain's knack for keeping its oddest traditions alive in the heart of the Peak District. From cursed wells to dancing poles, let's head to Yorkshire, where a maypole's got a story to tell. Yorkshire, that sprawling county in England's north, is a land of moorland and mills, where the dales roll like a green carpet, their dry stone walls a patchwork of history, and the cities like Leeds and Sheffield hum with the clatter of industry, their chimneys a reminder of the textile trade that once made Yorkshire the wool capital of the world. But in the villages, like those in the North York moors, a tradition as old as the hills themselves takes a turn for the downright whimsical and the ghostly. Maypole dancing, a springtime ritual since medieval times, sees villagers gather round a tall pole decked with ribbons, their hands weaving the strands in a dance as old as the seasons, their voices a chorus of round we go, and mind the ribbons. As they twirl, the children laughing as they skip, the elders clapping to the beat of a fiddle played by the village's best musician. But one maypole dance in the village of Helmsley has been twirling for far too long, a spectral event that's become the stuff of local legend, whispered about in the market squares of Yorkshire over cups of tea and slices of parkin. Meet the Whispering Maypole, a ghostly dance that vanished in 1910 during the annual May Day festival. Right as the villagers twirled their ribbons on a sunny May morning that sparkled like a gem in the moors, the maypole was a tall thing, its wood painted red and white, its ribbons a rainbow of colours, but as the dancers twirled, their laughter echoing through the square, the pole vanished into the air, leaving only a single ribbon fluttering to the ground, its edge glowing with a ghostly light that made the villagers gasp, their shouts of "Where's the bleedin' pole?" echoing through the village. Now, the Whispering Maypole haunts Helmsley Square, twirling in the mist with a ghostly giggle that sends shivers down the spine of every villager tending their allotment, their hands pausing on their spades as they listen to the eerie sound. If you leave a ribbon on the square, tied to a lamppost where the pole once stood, the maypole might giggle a thank you, its tone as light as a child's laugh. But don't join the dance, or you'll be twirling with the ghostly villagers for a month, your feet unable to stop. On sunny mornings, its giggle mixes with the chatter of the market, a ghostly echo that makes even the stallholders pause, their hands clutching their baskets a little tighter as they pass. Some say the maypole once twirled so fast that a market stall collapsed in 1987, the apples rolling across the square as if caught in a ghostly dance, a tale that's been told over pints at the Black Swan ever since. Others claim a child once tied a ribbon to the lamppost and heard the maypole giggle all the way home, a story that's made every parent in Helmsley check their children's ribbons twice. So, if you're in Helmsley and hear a ghostly giggle, leave a ribbon for the maypole it's still dancing, hoping to finish its twirl after all these years, a bizarre echo of Britain's knack for keeping its oddest traditions alive in the heart of Yorkshire. Which bizarre echo's your fave? Comment below and subscribe to Tall Tales UK for more whimsical British stories. Cheerio.